Okay, so reporting on, we'll call the meeting to order at 3:09. Thank you, Kristen, for joining us from wherever you are. And we'll go ahead and approve the minutes, and then we'll kind of maybe rearrange the agenda a little.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I have a question about the minutes.
Yes.
The line about the sidewalks, it says the town did not receive state funding for this project, and I thought you said it didn't receive as much as you'd hoped, so the scope was smaller. Did I mishear that?
Yeah, no, we did not receive any money from the
Oh,
state. The
okay.
did not come through, so that's why we did such a small portion. It was all us.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
unfortunately, that was correct. Any other questions, comments?
I move we approve as submitted.
Thank you, Wayne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. So, in the interest of time and the fact that we have Jim here, and I know he often has to pop off, I would like under my report on activities of economic and community development, we have a guest with us, Christopher, who I don't know how to say your last name, and I don't want to butcher it, so I'll let you introduce yourself. We spoke on the phone, and I'll just give you an update, and then I'll let you kind of share. But Chris gave me a call because the Wi-Fi in the depot was not working, and I will often get calls from Zoe down at the pantry because the repeaters down there aren't always working, and then I'll report it in. But when I spoke with Jaren at Advance, they said, "Huh, we hadn't heard that it wasn't working, but let me check. We've had a couple of storms." And so he went up into the attic. They did find that they needed to kind of reboot a few things, and I feel like maybe he told me something was outdated, but that also some of the trees had grown in, and so that they needed to go through each of the buildings where the repeaters were to make sure that one, they hadn't been unplugged because they're just sitting like in people's office windows as they repeat from town hall to the supply, to the front of the supply, to the back of the supply, to the pantry, and from town hall to the front of Judy Black, to the side of Judy Black, to Marty's. Trying to think of where else. We've got one going to the market. I don't remember. I think those are all the repeaters in place. But anyway, they were supposed to get back to me and I did not hear back. So, but Chris, you're here. Why don't you, if you could share your experience, why you called me and brought this to my attention, and also maybe an update if you've tested it.
Of course, happy to. Thanks for including me. I'm Christopher Canizares. I live on Upper Churchill Road. I never had much luck with the Wi-Fi at the depot, I have to say, I regrettably, and have in several cases kind of submitted that through the town website. So I don't have a full reporting of when, because that doesn't show up in my sent mail, so to speak. But I'm very happy to say I do have some correspondence. I think when I first reached out to you was in June, and then again in July. I still have had no luck. Basically, the way that I experience the Wi-Fi failure is either I see Washington free Wi-Fi, it takes forever attempting to join and then fails, and I get an alert that says unable to join network Washington free Wi-Fi, or I don't see Washington free Wi-Fi appear anywhere at all. An option, and I take screenshots when I encounter that, so I can share with the group what that looks like. But it looks exactly like what I just which is either it's missing or it specifically says unable to join. So I've never really had any luck. And I maybe 3 or 4 times total in recent years have I been able to connect. And I would figure because I'm in the depot all the time, it would connect automatically. And if not, I would be able to tap on it and connect. And I know it was such a huge effort to install and no small expense. So it feels like a pity that
Great, yes. And just so we know, where are you attempting to use it most? Like where in the depot are you? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, it's my first Zoom. Either Judy Black or I can see one email that I sent saying I'm standing literally in front of Marty's and do not see Washington Free Wi-Fi as an option. So
Okay,
typically it's those places. And then it used to be for sure it would never show up when I was at the pantry. Now the pantry now Zoe has her own Wi-Fi network, which
mhm,
is a recent development. So then I just joined that. But still, like if I'm over by the pantry, I never see Washington Free Wi-Fi even as an option.
okay,
Okay.
great, thank you.
Great.
I think it may have been you, Chris. I feel like I also got another call. Somebody was talking about how, in the food market for residents, if they forgot their grocery list or something, they've got something on their phone, they're looking up a recipe, they look online, you can't get on the Wi-Fi. So, it was originally installed for visitors because we didn't have cell service in town, so people could find the hours and the locations of the various businesses they were trying to find. And we do publish that we have free Wi-Fi. It's on the sign in the depot. It's on all of our guidebooks. It's on our website. So it is definitely something that we still believe is important. So I'm glad you brought it to our attention. I did reach out to the tech people, like I said, and I haven't heard back. And what I would love is for everyone here in the EDC to kind of troubleshoot, try to go. I always found it really hard to test on my phone. I get cell service in the depot. I'm on the Wi-Fi at Judy Black here at Town Hall. I have to like put airplane mode on and then unjoin all the networks that I automatically join to try to get
Okay.
the free one to work.
All right, well, I mean, this isn't a fair test, Chris, because I'm sitting in town hall and, the main tenor, the mothership antenna is literally over my head right now. So, well, actually, that's not true. The mothership is actually over at the school.
Wow.
But it beams,
It comes
yeah,
direct.
and so basically, I don't know, if, just not that it matters to anyone, but what happens is the mothership, the mother antenna is actually on the roof or in the attic of the old high school.
Mhm.
And then it beams over to the cupola on the top of the town hall. And then from there, it beams out to repeaters, which are like small cell antennas throughout the depot. There's one at the supply, there's one at Marty's, there's a couple at Judy Black, there's one, I mean, there's about half a dozen, I don't know the exact locations, but that's how we sort of create the mesh network for.
Sure.
So
Presumably,
once,
this is it's one of those like unify, I assume these like enterprise solutions basically that are set up.
like if you're walking around in a mall or you're walking
Yeah,
around
or an airport. Exactly. Yeah, same story.
once you're depending on where you're walking around, your signal bounces from one repeater to the other. That's the concept. But I just signed on to it now here and it's working on my phone.
Is it because I just signed it? It came up as an option. Put on airplane mode, so I turned off my cell.
I didn't even well, I didn't turn off my cell. I just went out.
Because sometimes if you go to your browser and you try to open a page, it'll use whatever is available to your phone. And if the Wi-Fi is not strong, it'll go right to your cell deck. So I put on my airplane. All right, and then it took that long, all of that talking, for the page to open, but it did. So
Mine just immediately went boom.
it did, but
Right.
it's supposed to go to Explore. You went to the town website, huh?
Well, I just selected the town.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I just selected.
Try again. I'd be thrilled if it's suddenly working. But I mean, but literally for years I've never had any luck, and I have no
Yeah.
reception in the depot. So I'm just kind of
Are you a Verizon customer?
a Verizon customer.
That's one of the.
That's why the Wi-Fi is so important. So
Exactly.
yeah.
No, I know exactly.
I thank you very much for bringing it to our attention because it is still really important.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
whole DB, you know, we spent a lot of time and money to put the system in place, so. Jaren was gonna check,
Okay.
on the condition and, status of all of the components and pieces, so
Yeah.
I'll get a follow-up for that. And
We know it's working at the cupola because I just literally signed on, which means which means the problem is the connection from the cupola on the top of Bryan Hall to all the repeaters.
The repeaters, exactly, to
So,
the access points. I'm happy also to, I mean, I'm no problem this weekend. I'll just putz around the depot and check in a bunch of different places. And I'll ask my
well,
husband to do the same on his phone and I can try to troubleshoot.
yeah, I'd
Hey,
be happy.
Michelle, excuse me, Rich is trying to get in.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I'll try to, I mean, this is something that's, and thanks, Chris, because this is something that's best crowdsourced. I mean, it's like.
Sure, yeah, of course. Makes
Yeah, we
sense.
get several people just going on, it's like, it's like, I mean, it's nothing for us if we're walking around a depot, just pull out your phone and just see, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The more people testing, the more data points we have.
Yeah, I just don't, I mean, I would have, had I known, I would have troubleshot it, but it's entirely possible that this could be a relatively simple fix. It's like the the repeaters are set up on what's called a line of sight array, or sometimes you see it abbreviated as a loss.
Mhm.
Which means that each repeater has to physically be in visual contact, so to speak, with the other. It's like if there are leaves on trees, if there's, a wall, I mean, like, and, they, all of a sudden they won't work.
For sure.
So,
It's all designed for, like, if you were two buildings across the street from each other in downtown Hartford, you could have a signal beam across the street, and that way you can all be on the same network.
correct, yeah, or like in a shopping mall, but if you've ever been like in a, well, I don't go to malls anymore, I don't know, but it's like, but they would always set them in the walkways, because that therefore you could get each antenna could have a clear shot at the next one without any obstructions.
That makes sense.
So, but we set this up. I mean, it's actually been in place now for several years, and it's entirely possible that some trees grew. And now some of the.
Oh, and are obscuring it. Yeah, of course.
Now
Well, I'm happy.
obscuring.
I'll test it. We can all test it, and then I can just come back in a month and say hello again at 3 p.m. on that Tuesday, and we can see where we go.
Sure,
Wonderful.
great.
I love that. Also, I just want to and I think you can find it on the website, but my email is mgora, GORRA at washingtonct.org. And that's just a great way if you document, I have it in writing and then I can share with the tech guys as they troubleshoot and look for that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the more info, the better, Chris. In other words, so if you're in a spot and you're running errands on a Saturday, and you pull out your phone, it's like, well, I see that I can log into it, but now it's not so great. Or if you get to another spot where it's not even an option to log in, that's
Yep, I'll share
valuable.
all of it.
That's valuable too, because then that allows them to go, okay, then then. When you do it that way, that gives the guys better opportunity to troubleshoot exactly where in the line of sight array the culprit may be,
That sounds
And
great.
yeah, and plus, once we figure it out, it's usually a relatively easy fix. I mean, sometimes it involves relocating the repeaters, because, if the tree grew, well, either you trim the tree or you move the repeater, and it's like, it all depends on whose tree it is.
Of course.
Yeah, may have been unplugged or something.
Or yeah, or sometimes, yeah, somebody, bumps it, or,
Well, yeah,
or the repeater, if, although I don't think any of them are installed outside, are they?
some are.
Some are, yeah,
So
outside.
if they're on the outside of the building, I think at the supply, they're on the inside, but like years ago. So somebody might not even remember. We'll double check. That'll be a little project between now and next month. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
For bringing it to our
It's a
attention.
pleasure. Thanks for your
Yeah.
patience.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to look into this.
Cool.
And it's like,
We'll get on it.
yeah,
Cause yeah, it'd be nice for that to be working as intended.
yeah.
Thank you very
Alright.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for joining us. We have a pretty short agenda today, no major business, so, I was just gonna share a little bit about what I've been busy working on. Actually, I put it under new business, the winter lights, but, so I guess starting back with, the other commissions that I work with, Sustainability Committee had a film showing about the dangers of plastic at the library. It was really well attended, over 50 people, and a lot of information was shared. But the other big news from sustainability is that the EV charger that we got a grant for was installed in the Titus parking lot behind, on the municipal lot. So that's exciting. The other grant that we received for New Preston, which is not going to be used in New Preston. The Sustainability Committee is interested, they asked if we would consider putting one here in the depot, on this side of the depot, behind Town Hall or somewhere else. So the Sustainability Committee said, yes, please, and so the engineers will have to look for suitable spots. Just so everyone knows, the one that is currently in the depot is working, but the software is not working. The lady, like, sometimes it doesn't work at all. At the moment, I believe it's working, but not charging people for it. However, it has 2 ports on it and it really should only have one. Because the second hose is dangerous when you have to go in front of or behind another car or over their hood to plug it in. So it's not to code anymore. So we're also gonna get an estimate for just taking that out, which would mean, that then if we were able to reallocate that grant to something back here, I'm pointing because the parking lot is behind me, but, that would mean that we would then have one over on the Titus side and one over on this side. And when people are coming through, they would show up on the apps, so people would find them. So
Mhm.
I will keep you posted, but that's exciting news from sustainability that.
Mm. Now, the grants, the grants require town property for installation?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one was a town property. It is interesting because.
Because Marbledale, the parking lot of Marbledale is not town property.
No,
It's,
no. And we have business owners that are on board. John Harris down at White Horse
I
was
was thinking,
interested.
I bet he is, yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's
he would
like-
be thrilled, but the grant needed to be for it's interesting, we're working with another company where it can't be town property. And it has to be the energy source has to come from a place that is not an Eversource pole, whereas this one, it had to be an Eversource pole, so. The parameter, they're all different kinds
Yeah,
of grants, direct,
And that's tough because in this town, it's pole by pole. I mean, like, if you go down to my street, it's Frontier.
okay,
Frontier,
yeah,
on River Road, Frontier. I mean, well, it's another thing. The poles are so old that most of the poles on my street, they have the old Ma Bell medallion on them.
Yeah, they're old.
Which means those poles are like 60 years old, twice their useful life.
No wonder they break.
But don't get me involved.
Yeah, no, let's
Don't get me
not
going
get
on
that.
infrastructure.
Let's not start on that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's good news from sustainability. The Arts Council, I'm trying to think of what they've been really busy with. Oh, the photo exhibit that was here in Town Hall just wrapped. And they were all ready for the Harvest Fest, which got rained out. We'll talk about that in a sec. And are gearing up for Holiday in the Depot. So Arts Council is also really busy. And what I'm trying to think of, the sidewalks, we mentioned that before from last month, just were finished up today. I watched the last piece of equipment be carried off, and the Judy Black sidewalks have all been tied in. It looks beautiful, so it's a wonderful start. It is interesting, I believe I've brought this to the EDC before, and Jim and I have spoken, but that was mentioned again at the Arts Council. Now that those sidewalks have been done, they had asked if there was some way we could do some sort of beautification of River Road, that part of the depot where it's like the backsides of all the stores. So now that we've got the sidewalks looking a little better, I will follow up with the property owners, just to see what is possible back there. We had talked about some planters or some kind of plantings. It's the post office has a very busy parking lot back there, so there's not a whole lot we could do with that, but there might be a few things, even if we had maybe some planters at the driveway that's kind of at the end of the plaza, so that you realize, it's kind of a coming in, going in and out of the plaza there. Well, we'll talk about it. So, more,
Yeah.
more.
Post office is a
Spring.
jam. It's like either they park their trucks back there or they park them in the plaza.
No,
And it's
no,
like, yeah, they have no place.
but maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. There's not much they can do. It's busy, but it's worth looking into maybe some sort of beautification. And then the last thing that I've been really busy with, which I put under new business, but is the winter lights. We have 99 lights, I have 6 more sitting out in the hall.
Yeah.
So all the rest went back into the trees. That's a lot of fluffing I did. It took me quite a few days to open out all those lights. My husband's really good at it too now. And the letters for fundraising have gone out to some of the businesses, not all of the businesses. I got the letter out to everybody that had donated in the past. I'm gonna continue to follow up on some of the newer businesses. I spoke with Caroline, who's one of the owners at Pinnacle, and we mentioned last month that the Titus Design Collective, the whole road back there is sort of organizing. They're doing I think it's second Saturdays of events, and they want to coordinate some holiday light decorations, and they're going to participate in Holiday in the Depot. So hopefully they'll also be helping with the fundraising for the winter lights. I don't know. I think I'm about halfway, maybe a little over halfway there on the total needed for the lights. So that has been,
Michelle, did you ever pursue people being able to donate in memory or in honor of somebody to the Christmas lights?
Sorta. I'm trying to remember, I put out, so last year, Trisha helped me write a letter for the businesses and a letter for the community. And we put a notice in the selectmen's email, I think, or maybe it was under boards and commissions. We put it out there. It was hard to know how exactly to solicit that. It was attempted, but I will say not. It left a little to be desired. The effort could have been better, I'm sure. So if you have thoughts on how to get that word out, I had not this year because the Harvest Fest got rained out, but in years past, a sign with a little card that you could take with the address to make the checkout for village improvement, soliciting donations. And I think I got 1 or 2. I've had a couple of people donate to the Lights Project that were not business owners, but for the most part, that didn't really pan out. So if you have thoughts on how to do that, that would be great.
What about putting it in a newsletter? One of the quarter.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, I wonder if I could update. So there's a newsletter in production right now. It goes out December 1st.
Yeah, put a little square in there someplace,
I will, it is in design right now, and I will do that. So the cover article is about the lights, actually. So
change the sentence and say, please send donation too.
right. So I can put at the end, if you're interested in contributing or would like to contribute in honor of someone. I like that idea, Kristen. I can maybe get a sentence in there while it's in design. Lights with the address. Lights solicitation, that's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
Thank you. Great idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it because I'm the one who did the lights letter or article. But anyway, that's the other thing I forgot that I was like, I knew I was busy doing something else. I was fluffing lights and had a newsletter deadline. So it was a little crazy last week. And again, with the newsletter deadline, staffing has changed. A couple of people, I have not found the right person, like their emails bounced back and I have to, let's see, at Montessori and Rumsey maybe, or Montessori and somewhere else. So I have to do some outreach and find the right communications person to send the solicitation for newsletter articles out.
You can send it to my daughter at Montessori, Michelle.
Oh, okay.
She's the CFO there.
Well, I bet it's not her job to write the article, but she could tell me who the uh correct person. Well, yeah, because Laura Martin left and she used to be the contact there. So I don't know who's taking her spot. Was she development or
Director, usually it's, you're looking probably for the director of development.
probably?
It's usually a person in a place like that that would take care of it.
Yeah,
But-
and I just didn't have a chance to figure out who that
But
was. So
you could call my daughter, who is Anne, and she'll put you in with the right person.
okay. Okay. I will do that. Great. Great. Does anyone have questions about the things that I've been working on this month?
So.
How come the lights are up so early?
Well, that was up to
On.
the arborists and the electrician, because they need to work together, to, when they have available time, because they're in the guys are up in the buckets from the arborists, and, one of Daryl's guys is there, and they gave me a 1 day's notice, said, hey, we're starting tomorrow. They told me on Tuesday that they were starting last Wednesday. So the plan was to be doing it this week. We usually try to have them lit for Thanksgiving. And yeah, that was when they were available. It's a little early.
Do they get turned off at some point at night?
So Daryl and I just were talking about that this morning. Some are on timers. The one in front of town hall is on a dusk to dawn, but it's been staying on. So they were all put on for installation. So the guys could see which ones were broken, which ones needed replacing. And through the week, they will each then get set to their timers. Some of the timers we think were blown with some of the electrical, some of the storms that we've had. And it's a challenge. The electricity to each of those trees is different. It's coming from a different person's building. Some of them are snaked through second story office windows. Some of them are tied into the exterior lighting. So it's not as uniform as we would like. It would be lovely if they all came on at once, all went off at once, but it's not. We just can't coordinate it that well.
Yeah, you don't, perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
It's like, man, just, it's, you want the lights to be on at night and people to enjoy them and just.
Yeah.
You can't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
It's just,
It won't be perfect.
it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic for what it's worth. I don't know if I'm allowed to speak now, but it looks really wonderful.
Sure.
You are, thank you.
We look forward to it every year, and I hear my husband gasp with delight when we pull in the first time that it's illuminated.
It is remarkable. The feedback to the lights is so positive. And again, this year, every year, I had somebody reaching out from the school in Sherman. They're opening and they wanted to have some of they're asking, where do I get them? How do I install them? I've had 4 different towns contact me this year. And every year they get a hold of me through Explore. They find me on the website. They call the selectman's office and they send their calls up to me. So it really is pretty remarkable, even though it's really kind of a pain in the neck. So yeah, it's
Yeah, well, at least it pays dividends. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, it would be one thing if we went through all this grief, or if you went through all this grief and nobody noticed. You
Right.
know, well, everybody
Oh,
notices, so
yeah.
it's like,
People absolutely love them. So yes.
oh, friends,
Yeah, here comes Fran. The last tree to be worked on is the one back here at Watt. Eversource is apparently taking down part of the tree. That's another thing that we have, one of the trees was trimmed over at the smithy, and the one in front of Marty's, Eversource came through and trimmed a hole right through the middle for the power lines. So then we've got to go and see which ones they disconnected and try to rebalance the lights. So it's not like it's static. It's not like,
ongoing.
yeah, it's not like you put them in once and you're done and they stay. The
Yeah.
storms break branches and wreck the lights and things
Yeah,
happen.
it's not
So,
like that, so my sister-in-law's Christmas tree, she has one of these, it's absolutely hideous, but it's like so bad it's good. But she calls it the Presto Pine. She literally just yanks it out of a big box and she sets it down and it's already pre-lit, whatever, and she's like, there I go, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah,
And it's always the same. It's like, but this isn't that.
no, unfortunately, no, it is not. It is not. Okay, so without any other questions, old business, Harvest Fest, just, it was rained out. We were intending to be there collecting emails, but, the rains came, a big nor'easter, and, there was a smaller version held, I think, a week or
Next
two
Friday.
later outside of town hall. It was nice. It was, small. It was for locals. There was a band, a food truck, not as many scarecrows, no vendors. And so I know the committee is discussing having a rain date next year so that all of the work that is done is not lost, but we'll see where that lands.
That's tough. Because,
It's-
it's because, the rain date's obviously the next weekend, but that next weekend is typically like parents' weekend at all the schools. It's, weekends in October are border on being overscheduled.
Yeah, I know, I know. Well, I don't know. Actually, Fran, are you on that committee? Are you on the Harvest Fest committee?
She's muted.
Yeah, she's figuring it out. There we go. Wait, I know that you were gonna discuss a rain date. Was that discussed or not yet?
We did discuss it in a general way. We discussed the whole idea of rain dates for the various activities that are outdoors, the block party, etc. But I mean, yes, the intention is to have a rain date, but as Wayne is pointing out, that may be difficult in terms of the number of things occurring in October, but it hasn't been decided.
Okay, I was wondering if you were gonna consider having it on Saturday with Sunday as a rain date, or Sunday with Monday as a rain day. It's a holiday weekend, so it's like,
You could,
yeah, I don't
you
know.
could
Monday
conceive
is a rain day. It's tricky. I didn't know if they were gonna,
the grounds would be available because it's a school holiday. So.
yeah. So anyway,
Those are good suggestions, but it's hard to go backwards to say we're not going to do it on Sunday. We're going to go back to Saturday, and Sunday you lose a lot of the audience that comes from out of town. But it still wouldn't be likely much better attended than the following Friday night was, which was a nice affair, but it just didn't have a huge audience.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll just hear what the committee decides. If there are no other comments on that, we already talked about the winter lights, and so that's really all I have. Fran, was there anything else from the WBA that you wanted to report?
No, I mean, the next big activity is Holiday in the Depot.
Yes. So Holiday in the Depot is it the 12th? I think it's the second Friday.
It's the 12th of December.
Yeah. I'm excited. I like I said, I met with Caroline over at the Pinnacle, and the whole Titus Road is really gearing up to have more of a presence at Holiday in the Depot. So hopefully which will be nice. It will hopefully spread it around a little bit. Sometimes it's just not as active over at Titus. I know last year the Arts Council was set up in the pantry with a gingerbread house contest and had over 100 people come through. I think partially because it was really cold and they were looking for spots to go inside, but it'll be nice to spread it out a little bit, because the depot does get pretty congested. And there'll just be more for people to do. So, I look forward to that. It's a big night for all of our businesses to really sort of kick off well, they're in the midst of really the holiday season. That'll be kicking off, with Thanksgiving, but, nice. It's a really nice event and it really makes the depot shine. So it's a wonderful, we'll look forward to that. There was a social last week that I was not able to attend. Was anyone here able to attend? Was that well attended?
I was there.
Okay.
It was at Hopkins Inn. It's always a lovely affair. Basically, there was just an outline, I mean, in terms of business that occurred there, it was just an announcement regarding Holiday in the Depot, a preliminary announcement about Poetry Month next April with very few details and mostly just a social and an opportunity for people to meet, talk, and have fun.
Great. That's great. That reminds me, I have heard from Michael, who's opening up the marketplace in the Flemings. He's still moving forward, hoping, I think he said to be open by December, and I believe he's going forward. It's going to be Hidden Valley Marketplace or Hidden Valley Market or something like that. For the name. Also the space, I think you had asked me, Fran, that's on the corner of Titus is probably one Titus.
Yeah, it's an insurance company, Russell Insurance Company. The two people involved with that were at the social last week, and it was nice to meet them.
Great. Yeah, they had reached out to me asking about it, and I encouraged them to attend the social. So that is an insurance agent, and I'm trying to think. There was one other.
Which building? Which is?
So it's the one on the corner. I think Barbara Carey still owns the building. The design people moved over
Right.
to the ASAP building.
Okay. I don't know the numbering on Titus Road, so I don't know which end of one.
That's where
is.
David Miles' office was.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, right there on the corner. What is it, Maurice? At Pasquale Home something is the other,
there's
a home
there's
goods store.
there's a home boutique
Yeah.
there,
That's relatively new. That was all for the new businesses that I've heard. I have not heard if, I think was it that the jewelry store was thinking of expanding into the empty space where Sweets was in New Preston?
That is that is the plan.
Were they able to get the door cut through?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, that I think was like a building code
It
or.
looks as if some construction or something. I mean, we went by there the other night and it looked as if there was some construction or some activity going on there, but I don't know. But
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do because the space that used to be the sweet shop literally doesn't have a restroom.
So they need to come-
It doesn't even have plumbing. So they want to try but there's a shared wall. So the new owner, I guess what she wants to do, she wants to have the high-end jewelry that she has now where it is, and then have like costume and vintage jewelry and where the sweet shop is. But she doesn't want to have to go outside to go in between the two places, which is what she would have to do right now,
Yeah.
which is which is kind of
All right.
silly, but so they want to just basically create literally just a pass through. And
Mhm.
apparently that is more difficult than, I mean, those buildings are how old? It's like,
Yeah, no,
it's what
hard.
you call it, pulling the thread on the sweater, it's like, well, look what we've got here.
Yeah. Fran, I don't know if you've heard, I don't, the holiday, what did they call the New Preston walk? That they used to do in the holiday season and they stopped with COVID, and I don't know if they ever really brought it back.
The stroll, wasn't it called?
Was it called a stroll? Yeah, something like that. I'm wondering if
No,
they're.
they haven't brought it back. It was, I mean, Dana, talking to Dana Schulman from DK Schulman,
Mhm.
they've talked about it, but they haven't put it together. And it's not occurring this year.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. All right, thank you. Jim, Selectman, you have anything for us?
Just a couple of things real quick. The budget season is going to start in January. We've had a lot of questions about the funds from the citations. The legislation as written was fairly broad in terms of how those funds can be used. So we'll be tackling that. That's a substantial amount. We've got a little under 500,000 right now. The other thing is the bridge on River Road, we are going to be closing to one-way alternating traffic. And I'll be reaching out tomorrow to Lisa at the food market, Brian Hagenbach for Steep Rock, as well as Teddy from the pizza place. We've got to put weight restrictions on it. It'll be probably first to second week in January before we can get a fix in place.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an emergency repair. Believe it or not, when we contract engineers to do all our bridges and waterways, in addition to what the DOT does. The DOT had it rated as a fair bridge. We tore up the deck on it this year in the paving season and did some core samples, and it's not even remotely fair. We've got to take immediate action. So we've got the funds to do it. We don't have to do an next budget appropriation, but it's just going to be a logistical thing for residents and some of the business, the pizza place and things like that.
Oh, they have to do it in the winter. Oh.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
Well, gotta do what you gotta do.
And plus, I live on River Road, so I mean,
As a matter of fact, I have to.
Driving over this, maybe I should get out and walk next time. Yeah.
It's really strange the formula that they do for this thing. So, like, for example, our ladder truck, which weighs 50,000 pounds, cannot go over this bridge. It's going to have to go around Cook Street. But a semi delivering to the pizza place can because of the configuration of the axles. So there's all these bizarre formulas and whatnot. But with that said, I do have to run over there for a site visit within the wetlands. So thank you, folks, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for being here. All right, I don't have anything else, except for that was a good reminder from Jim, budget, coming up. So we should start thinking about, what we want to do. I want to plug that we should advocate for some of that, speeding money to go into the sidewalk fund. It is supposed to be earmarked for infrastructure type things, so.
Roads, bridges, sidewalks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right. I haven't heard about the connectivity grant opening up again, but I will watch for that. I actually, and I haven't spoken to Jim about this yet, I will do that soon, but I wanted to maybe see if I could get a different set of engineers' eyes on the plans to kind of help with the the grant presentation component of it, because we've struck out with several different with the steep and with DOT, and I just think maybe a new set of eyes on that might be a little helpful. So we'll follow up on that in the new year, as that grant might open up, because now that I've seen, everybody needs to go walk in front of Judy Black. It looks so great, and unfortunately the sidewalk stops. They did like half of the corner on Barber's Corner and then stopped. And they need to go from there to the bridge so that we can then continue over to Marty's and start looking at that block. So it's wonderful that what they did, and it just highlights what
And
How
there's
about-
some I saw them, it's a real high tone granite curbs they put in there. That was like,
That's what's all in the plaza too, and that's what we put in New Preston
Yeah,
when we did those. They're more expensive up front, but they last like
Forever.
so much
Yeah.
longer. The plows don't tear them up. And like the concrete curbing, so,
mhm.
and then asphalt, forget it, that's gone in a season. If they get plowed, so. Yeah, so I think that's something we should kind of try to focus on. You know, we've been talking about it for a while and trying to get money for it, but if we can get some of the speeding money, that would be great. Also, just FYI, there will be another large request coming from housing. So, what, you know, is important. We've identified that as an economic development concern as well, and it'll be important that we all show up for the town budget when that time comes. So I'll keep you posted on the requests for that as well. Housing has been really busy. There are a lot of irons in the fire at the moment, so that's good news. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I just want to let everybody know the ambulance building is up and running. I think we're officially out of the firehouse now. There's still like little nice touches to be done, but I think tonight we're supposed to maybe figure out when the open house is going to happen. So all that hard work, all that planning, all all the everything is finally come to fruition, and it's amazing. They just did an amazing job and it looks great. So watch for that.
Yay. I
Joe,
got to see,
wasn't there
I saw-
mention of a tour we were going to have for the ambulance building? Did I miss that?
what did you say?
Didn't you mention a meeting or two ago that Jim was going to give us a tour of the ambulance building or make available sometime?
He did say that.
Never happened. Okay, I didn't miss it. Okay, that's all.
No, you didn't miss it. And the open house has not been scheduled. I did get to see some pictures because that's what Jim wrote about for the newsletter. So you'll see those. I don't actually know how many of the pictures will make it, but yeah, we should call him. We should get that tour scheduled. I'll remind him.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll do the open house. We'll just go to the open house. Either one.
Yeah. Or the open house. If we can
I'm sure he's
attend.
busy.
Yeah, he has been really busy.
Michelle,
Yes.
do you know what the story is with the speed cameras? I know they took them down on Old Litchfield and they were supposed to move them over to Baldwin Hill, but then I thought I heard they're not putting them on Baldwin Hill. So what are they doing with those?
So the last I heard, I haven't heard them speak about it at a selectmen's meeting for a couple of weeks. They've been talking about the siting council and the cell tower, but last I heard they were trying to get let's see, I think Flirtation, the cut through. I think we talked about that.
No, that
And
was on the
another, but
list.
they were trying to get a couple of other sites approved, and it's like a month-long process of speed monitoring, etc. So I that's a good question. I'll see.
At the Board of Finance meeting last night, Jim said that they're working on Nettleton Hollow, actually. Not
Okay.
Baldwin.
Yeah, I know it's not like the town also has a couple of the stalker signs, the ones you pull up and it says, it flashes your speed is whatever. We have a couple of those. Those we can just move around however we want as a community. But the speed cameras, when we want to change the location, it has to actually be approved by the DOT. Even though they've approved us to use X number of cameras,
Yeah.
when we want to move one, it's not like the stalker sign where we can just move it to the next road. The DOT has to weigh in, and that's why it takes as long as it does to change one of the locations.
So good. Thank
So
you.
I'm sorry, where is it? Where are they active now?
Right now, it's just the one on 109, right?
I think the 109 is the only one that's still up, and Old Litchfield was the one taken down that was gonna be moved to Baldwin Hill, and then they
But
decided
now-
not to.
But now I think they may move to Nettleton Hollow. We have two, right?
We have two.
So So the one that was on Old Litchfield Road is gonna probably move to Nettleton Hollow. And, you know, the one on 109 might be eventually moved as well to another, like, I mean, they're more effective when you move them around, obviously, but you know, with the cameras, it's not like the stalker signs where we can just, you know, go where people, you know, move it to where people are complaining, you
Yeah.
know, and
Well, which is the idea behind the speed signs, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does eventually get on Baldwin Hill. But there were some issues brought up, so we'll see. It's definitely still a speeding concern.
yeah,
So,
there are several roads that are good candidates for them. Flirtation is definitely a good candidate.
There was a
know.
huge accident on 47 right outside of our town, I think a week or two ago. So they're really, we can put them on state roads apparently. So that would be another spot.
how about, you mean Woodbury, like that end?
It happened, I think it was actually in Roxbury. It was major, right where my daughter's house is. Before you get out of Roxbury, the person was coming from Washington, and we were the first responders. And apparently he ran away toward Woodbury, and they caught him on, you know. But my son-in-law was right there because, you know, it was right where their house is, and the guy was probably going 90 miles an hour. $100,000 or more of damage to everything, basically. And
Well,
Roxbury, you know, couldn't get there nearly as fast as our trooper was the first one on the scene, and I think our ambulance people might have been there first too.
yeah, it is interesting. It's a little scary, but if you go to the DOT website, it's a little buried, but you can find the crash data, which they look at when they're putting out speeding signs. I've looked at it as I'm trying to convince them to do some traffic calming for the depot and sidewalks, but you can see all of the crash data by road, like if they just have dots. And it's public on the DOT website if you kind of search it. So
He would definitely have still been would have been speeding while in Washington, is what I'm saying, because it was it wasn't even to Woodbury. It was like right in the middle of that
yeah,
little.
there's that weird little strip of Roxbury. I remember this from being on the school board because there are no roads from 47 into Roxbury. You have to leave Roxbury to get back.
To get to that one road.
To get to that little stretch of 47 because it's in like a corner, you know, it cuts the
Yeah,
corner of
there's only
Roxbury.
one road there. It's like.
And I think there's like two houses or something.
Yeah,
Just a few.
Lane and Molly bought one of the houses there years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There might
anyway,
be three.
there might be three houses.
Three or four.
Yeah,
They still live there too.
you
don't they?
can't
It's like
you
a-
can't get into Roxbury from there without first going to Washington or Woodbury. So they're kind of stuck there. Yeah, well, that's a good question. I'll keep everyone up to date if I hear anything more on the speed cameras. I envision the town eventually having maybe 4 of them and 8 or more approved sites that they just sort of rotate them around quarterly so that you know, I think we'll see how far along it gets towards that, but I think that's sort of the thinking is that there'll be a handful of approved sites and then several cameras that just kind of move around. So,
You know, I think you could probably sort of reconfigure your material that you've put in for the grants for sidewalks to go toward that. Because I mean, I think it's definitely a safety issue having safe sidewalks down in the depot, especially, you know. So if you could, you know, figure out what they're asking for and tweak your many hours of work into a different format for that purpose, I think that would be great.
thank you. Yeah, they do for some of the grants, they look at what the town is willing to put in and match, and that helps. So if we're committed to that, so you know, everything we spend, whether it's for engineering, you know, pre-design or our own money for sidewalks, it helps. It shows the commitment and the kind of having the town having their own skin in the game. So yeah, I will revisit that. I don't want to give up on that. Cause
There's
people
a lot of, there's a lot of money there, you know, that you can make the case to the selectmen, I guess. And then the Board of Finance that sidewalks might be an important way to spend some of that money.
Agreed. Thank you. I agree. All right.
Michelle, the 500, he said, that's the gross, right?
Yes. Oh my, he said just shy of 500. Is that collected or billed? There's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, there's definitely a lag. It's not all collected yet,
Mhm.
but
But
there's
there,
That's
It-
amazing.
it is amazing. And it all cut, I mean, it's $50 at a time for most of it. So, that's
Yeah.
a lot of speeding tickets.
Yeah, and I'm amazed that the state isn't got their, you know, I mean, hasn't sunk their claws into that money
Well,
to any
I-
degree yet.
they may decide to, because you know, a couple of other towns are now starting to do it.
I would guarantee they're gonna sink their claws into it once they see the numbers. It's like,
Yeah.
most people don't know, you know, if the resident state trooper pulls you over and gives you a ticket, you'd be shocked how little of that actually goes to the town of Washington. You know, the vast majority of that ticket, that speeding ticket you pay goes to Hartford. It doesn't really, you know, very little of it comes to us, whereas in
think
this
it's
case,
100%.
the vast majority of that $50 comes to us, you know, provided we
Minus
collect it.
the processing fees of the company
Right,
that
yeah,
runs the
but-
software or
But in
something.
terms of raw percentage, you know, well over half of that money's coming to the
I
town.
think it's like 95%.
Yeah, whereas a speeding ticket written by the resident state trooper, like 10% of it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
know.
us. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a pittance.
I
yeah.
think one of the cities, and it may be Hartford, is thinking about, I think I read that
I think it's either Hartford or West Hartford. I'm not sure. One of those two.
maybe it's West Hartford. I think you're right.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and I think another town too, and I'm
Hey,
forgetting. So other towns are really looking into it because it's a revenue source and it maybe slows things down a little bit.
Well, that was why we did it. It was not for the revenue source. Their only goal was to hopefully make enough money to pay off the camera itself,
Yeah,
right?
little do we know.
Because they just wanted for people to slow
Right.
down. And there is evidence that people were slowing down. Became less and less tickets. Now, did people just go around, drive a different way? We don't know, but evidence suggests that people did slow down. But you
Well,
know,
and
the first
also-
few minutes were the worst.
Because also of the Litchfield Bridge being out, there was a lot more traffic going through there
Yeah,
during
that's
that summer period.
yeah, that's a good point. We'll see. I think we'll learn more as we move them around.
I drive slowly every day, twice a day, both ways.
There you go, Fran. See, that's the answer. Just go slow.
Okay, well, I'm gonna drive real fast on River Road now, just for that little stretch of the bridge. Just to
Get over it
before I get over it, before I collapse. You know, I
Good
mean,
thinking. Good thinking.
it's like, it's more of an incentive to walk here rather than drive now. It's like,
All right. Well, I don't hear any more business, I don't
Mm,
think. Does anyone have anything else to share? Thank you all. for-
Motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
Have a great
Uh,
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Great, yeah, you too.
Yes.